Everyone, I am so excited because tonight, and yes, we are taping at night, I get to talk with Eoin Dempsey again. We're going to be talking about his brand new book, White Rose Black Forest. It came out in February. I was so excited. I'm so glad that I get to talk to him again. I Ian writes so well. Like the first time I read Finding Rebecca, I wanted to give him a standing ovation. Okay. And then the Bogside Boys again. And now this one again. I cannot wait to talk to him. Everyone, here is Ian. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be speaking again with Eoin Dempsey about his third book, which he's going to hold up, White Rose Black Forest. Oh my gosh, I think this is my favorite cover, Eoin. I love that cover. That is
Yeah,
amazing. That is just
I'll
amazing.
just speak behind it for the whole thing. It'll probably things might go better that way. No,
Oh,
I'll take the check. That here's me at the back too, in case you're wondering which actually it is
there
me.
we go.
Yeah, the cover's great. It took me a while to get used to it. Someone giving your book a cover is a bit like someone else naming one of your children. If you know what I mean, it's like, okay, your child's name is Ted now. And it's, I don't really like that name. It's okay, and then you get used to it, and then Ted becomes Ted, and you're like, I love the name Ted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took me a while to get used to this, but I do. Yeah, I really like it now.
Oh, and I told you when I got this book, which was a couple of weeks, it came out in February. I got the book a couple of weeks, I found out about it a couple of weeks after it had come out. And you always wrote, like, I can't tell you, Finding Rebecca, I have given away so many Finding Rebeccas. And everybody's doing, like, I gave it to one woman, her whole book club did it. And then I gave away the Bogside Boys, their book club did it. Like, everybody loves your book. So I got your book over a weekend, and I'm busy now. You knew me when I wasn't busy, but I'm kind of busy now. I read a lot of books. So I'm gonna read Owen's in between the others because we hadn't scheduled anything yet. So I'm just gonna read it, right? Well, I'd get a half an hour in, and I should be switching over to another book, and I couldn't do it. I had to keep reading. I couldn't do it. And I kept getting behind, more behind. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to finish this book so I can move on to my other books. Your
Yeah,
books are so good. I can't wait to give away this book.
thank you. I yeah, it's I'm getting a lot of that in reviews that people read it in a short amount of time, in a night or a day. Even like anecdotal stories from my friends or co-workers. Start on a Friday night, wake up the next morning and finish it before lunchtime. I'm getting a lot of that, yeah, which is great. That's the kind of book. To be honest, I write the kind of books that I want to read, and that's the kind of book that I want to read.
I
So
know. I was all mad at you. I'm like, Owen is keeping me from reading these other books, okay? Because I can't put this book down.
I apologize profusely.
I'm sure you feel really bad about that,
I
right?
know, taking my little heart here.
See, when I was reading Finding Rebecca, I could just read it. I was at no schedule. I could just, it was no big deal. But
Yeah, but now
now
busy, Michelle. I like it though. I like to hear that.
oh,
I'm a very busy man. It's a good sign.
I know, it is good. But oh my gosh, okay. So I knew right away, like Black Forest, and I know you, so I'm like, okay, this is going to be World War II. Nobody has to tell me because I don't know if you ever saw. Now it's slipping my mind, but Eric Bork's miniseries. And it's from World War II, and that's when I learned about the Black Forest. Right,
Okay.
like Tom Hanks. What was that miniseries called? Wow, I should have written it down.
Are you asking someone in the corner, or are you just looking into space? You're looking into space.
Who?
You.
I'm
It's
looking.
like you're asking someone who's
I
just
know.
like,
I'm just
what's
like
up?
I'm trying to. Oh no, I'm like looking at a wall. I'm like, why can't I remember
Oh,
that?
okay, no,
Anyway, it was a long time ago.
I don't know what. I can't tell.
No, it was a movie. It was a miniseries on HBO, and it was a long time ago. Okay, but it was
What?
World
Sounds
War
like something
II.
I should have watched.
Yeah, it was a while ago. But anyway, if it comes to my mind, I'll let you know. So anyway, I watched that miniseries, and that's when I learned about the Black Forest. I really didn't, because these things that we're learning through you historical fiction writers, we didn't learn about this in school. You know, it wasn't something that we were taught. We were taught some things about the war, but so I was like, well, I know the Black Forest. White Rose, I got to learn about in your book. So,
Yeah.
which was very interesting.
I learned a lot. I learned all that stuff myself. I hadn't really heard much about that. The inception of the idea for me was the first thing I thought of was the Man in the Snow and being discovered by someone.
Right.
So that was the seed that grew into the book, and then I had to like put it into historical context. And I wanted to do it in the Black Forest, and then I read about the White Rose, and I was like, boom, perfect, absolutely perfect for my story. Researched that, had her be part of it, and I based her very loosely on a woman who was in the Black Forest. Was not in the Black Forest. She was in the White Rose movement called I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Trouta Le Friends. She's actually still alive. She's like 102 or something. She lives in a So
Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers. Okay, right. Yeah, Band of Brothers. So, oh yeah. Tom Hanks produced that. Yeah. Right.
See, now we're going. Now we know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Are you sure they went to the Black Forest? Are you sure they weren't in the Ardennes? They were in the Ardennes in Belgium, I think. That was the Battle of the Bastogne and the Battle of the Bulge.
Weren't they in the Black Forest too? Or no?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't really a whole lot of battles that went on in the Black Forest, just because where it is.
I thought they hid there.
Who?
I thought the troops were hiding in the Black Forest. No, that's where they would go to hide. I don't know. I don't know. You know the geography more than I do. I don't know the geography.
Yeah. So Switzerland's obviously here, France is here, and then the South Germany's there.
Right.
Yeah, I went there. We went there in 2016 to check it out. And when I was over in Ireland, we went over to Paris and then took the train, left the kid behind. We only had one kid then. And went down to the Black Forest for a few days. Stayed in Freiburg, which is the main city there, which is mentioned in the book. Yes. Where it's from. It's an absolutely stunning. I was there in summer now, so it was very different. But it's a stunningly gorgeous place, absolutely beautiful, and not overrun with tourists at all. Like I was there in August, and no, it wasn't overrun in the slightest.
Wow,
absolutely stunning place, gorgeous. Type of place the pictures don't do it justice, but you're constantly snapping pictures, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot. So, yeah, it was funny though. All the research that I did, I didn't necessarily change anything after I'd gone to the Black Forest. But it gave me a better sense of being, not to sound corny, but it helped me connect with my own novel even more as a writer and my own source material, which was a very rewarding thing for me. It's great to have been there and gone there because, like in Finding Rebecca, you mentioned earlier on, I still haven't been to Jersey. I haven't had a chance yet. But no, I know. I see that look in your face. I know. You're disgusted with me now. You don't like my books anymore. Is this interview over? Yeah, a friend of mine, around the time I wrote it, Finding Rebecca, that is, a friend of mine was telling me that he'd been to Jersey and Auschwitz, and I was like, oh God, I haven't been to either.
Wow.
But anyway, we're not talking about that. I have been to the Black Forest.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. It was absolutely beautiful. And as I said, connected with him.
Well, what I loved is like, okay, in Finding Rebecca, right? It was like the love story was right there. You know, like that, I mean, that's the whole premise was, you know, he had to find the love of his life. And so, but as you're reading this book, I wasn't convinced it was going to be a love story. And I started to get mad at you because I was like, this better be a love story, Eoin, because this better end up being a love story at some point.
Yeah.
You know?
It's more subtle, all right. Yeah, it is more subtle. Yeah, and it's mainly toward the end that comes about.
And we don't want to do spoilers. We don't want to spoil it for everybody.
No, we don't want to spoil it.
We don't want to do spoilers, but you know, because here, you know, in this juncture, as they're reading the beginning, they're not going to understand what it, you know, who the love story is going to be about. But it was such a good story, though. I mean, I was hooked. First chapter, I was hooked right away. I mean, I loved her. She may be like one of my favorite characters that you've written. I just love her.
She's fabulous. Yeah, and yeah, she's just a wonderful. She's so strong. No matter what you throw at her, she just gets back up again and keeps going. There's just no way to keep her down.
Yeah, and I love the conflict that she had to keep. It was like she kept going back and forth. I mean, here she was, a German, okay, and she's trying to figure out, like, but the Nazis, things haven't gone well for her and her family. So she's, like, and I was like, you brought out, I think, what a lot of the Germans did go through, because. Mm-hmm. They were a lot of them were conflicted. Now, of course, there were some characters in the book who were, straight trying to follow the Nazi regime, and but with some of the, with her and her family, it was like they were just constantly struggling because she loved Germany so much.
Yeah. I think one of the themes of the book is trying to separate love of country versus loyalty to government, and people have in reviews have brought up, actually from both sides of the political equation, have brought up points in reviews which I don't want any of. I don't want a part of any state politics to do with my books,
right?
Because that's not the point of reading them. But yeah, I suppose you can take out of it what you're going to take out of it. But as far as how the German people were seduced or else subjugated, one or the other, by the Nazi regime, slowly but surely. I think a lot of the parts of the book that were very educational for me were what they do with education. Like, she goes away for the summer and then she comes back, and suddenly the Nazi flags are all around the school. There's a picture of Hitler in the principal's office, and all the books have been changed to Nazi propaganda, more or less, badly written.
Right.
And all the teachers, if they don't join the Nazi party, they get fired.
Right.
So there's the teachers' union becomes part of the Nazi propaganda machine, and so that's what they brought it from there. So I think it's more understandable for people to think that to realize that they indoctrinated children, and then it went from there. So then it was only 10, 12 years later that these children had grown up, and that these were the fanatics that they had at these rallies, although they did start earlier. But yeah, different time.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that, I didn't know anything about this city. I thought that, you brought out a lot of, like, what it was like to actually live in Germany at that time. I didn't realize that it was, if you weren't Jewish, I didn't realize the rations and everything were as strict. Mm-hmm. I guess. I think I learned a lot about that. I when I read, especially a book like yours, like, I absorb all the other, there's the story, but then there's the other things that you're, like, teaching us as we're reading. And, it's that's not like I didn't think it was easy for them, but I guess I didn't understand what life was like for them, even if they weren't Jewish. It wasn't fun. There was still a lot going on, and they had to be always vigilant about where they were, what they were doing.
Oh yeah, and the Gestapo, obviously the Gestapo were a major part of the book.
Yeah.
The Blockwarter, so there was a Blockwarter in every apartment block and every street, and who would rat you out, the local Gestapo, if you stepped out of line.
Right.
People were constantly ratting each other out because they didn't want to, like, be seen as disloyal. So it's just promoted this horrible culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you have to be absolutely subservient, and if you said anything out loud, like, there's stuff mentioned in the book about, like, a waiter who says Hitler's a murderer and he gets beheaded for it, and that got worse as into the 40s as the actual war began, and the worse the war went, the more prevalent that became. But that was throughout the Nazi regime.
Yeah, well, and it added to the tension of the book too, because as simple as going to get food and somebody noticing anything little different about what you're doing, what you're getting, the mode that you travel, like how you're getting there, like you said, everybody's very paranoid about everybody else, and I loved it. It, like, built up the tension of what she was going through, because she had the secret,
When I was researching, I came across a phrase, the German look. So that they coined that phrase because everyone was so paranoid all the time. They were constantly looking over their shoulders. That became known as the German look.
Interesting.
Which is, imagine living in those conditions. Oh my god! Like, come on. And another thing that I found really interesting when I was researching, and I found this on the BBC website, the English TV channel BBC website, and it was on like a learning history learning part of the site for teenagers, and I didn't realize how horribly sexist Nazi society was too. Insofar as you probably remember, women weren't allowed to color their hair.
Right.
They weren't allowed to perm their hair. They weren't allowed to wear makeup. They were not allowed to be on juries. They were not allowed to have any kind of professional job like doctor, lawyer, or anything along those lines. They weren't allowed to run for office, any kind of politician. So they were, again, women were totally, what the three Ks, Kinder, Kuka, Kinder, whatever, I can't speak German. But right. God, kitchen, and church, whatever that is in German, that's what they were drummed into. And given medals for every child that they had.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you, like, you love World War II, obviously. You've written now 2 historical fiction books.
You know, Michelle, it's like kind of like these guys in Godfather Part 3. I try to get away, but it pulls me back in, you know? My next book is nothing to do with World War II.
Okay.
Absolutely zero to do with World War II. No connection whatsoever. It's set 40 years of World War II starts.
So you're going to tell us what it's about?
No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, there was this big dramatic pause, you know?
Yeah, I did it on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. To get a reaction from you.
Okay.
So I wanted to write something in the frozen Nora, okay? And I had all these various ideas, and I was looking for something like a big event in the frozen North. Late 19th century, early 20th, in and around then maybe. And then I found the Klondike Gold Rush, and I was like, boom, perfect.
Nice.
So my new novel is just about finished. It should be ready to go to the publishers probably next week or so. I'm just doing some very last minute edits, and mainly just grammar stuff. And I have an historian fact checking it for me, and he's really happy with what he sees so far. He's in Skagway in Alaska. And that's where the ships used to dock. So they go up from San Francisco, or mainly from Seattle, and they go all the way up to Skagway in Alaska. Well, that was one of the routes, the main route. And then the people would get off. They'd have to go 35 miles over the mountains, and they'd have to carrying between 1,500 and 2,000 pounds worth of luggage each over 35 miles of mountains. Then, once they got over 35 miles of mountains, they would have to build their own boat, cut down trees, build their own boat, and go 550 miles upriver to the town of Dawson, and that's where the gold fields were. So getting there was an unbelievable undertaking. 100,000 people went to go, 30,000 people made it to Dawson.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an incredible story. So I got some good characters, put them in. My my heroine's name is Anna Denton, quite close to you, and she's great too. Love her, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that should be hopefully I'll hear back in the publisher in the next month or two, and we'll see from there.
Well, I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of love story woven in.
You assume correctly, Michelle. You assume correctly. What, have you read my books before or something?
I know.
You can predict well, you can. Okay, you're correct. Yeah, this one is the love story in it specifically. I'll give you a little bit of the outline of what it's about, right? So my main character, Anna, she's from just outside Chicago, and her family, her industrious father, his business is failing due to the depression that was going on in the United States at the time. Part of the reason so many people went up to the Klondike was because there was a depression in the United States at the time. Right. And his business is failing. And he receives a letter from all the way up in the Klondike. Now, the people who really made money in the Klondike were the people who were on the spot. in 1896 when all the gold was discovered. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it took so long for the word to get back down to the States that most of the best claims, not all, but most of the best claims in the gold was already gone. So the people who made all the money were the people up there on the spot. So the first few people who discovered it, there was a philosophy among the prospectors that if you discover the gold, the custom is to tell everybody else around you about it because you can only claim so much anyway. So you tell your friends, you can get a claim too, and you can also get rich because you can't keep it up yourself. So when these guys discovered the gold, they literally went into the bar that night drinking and said, "Guys, we've discovered gold." And it's all the people in the bar that night packed up, went up. They got their own. They made their own claims, and then people all got rich. People were on the spot at the time. Wow. So when the main gold rush was gone in 1897, 1898, most of the claims were gone. There was money still to be made, but only a percentage of a smallish percentage of what was actually there. So anyway, so Anna's parents are about to go. They get a letter from this guy who's the king of the Klondike. He's one of the richest people there, and he's the most powerful man there, and he's the richest man there. Saying he's a distant cousin of Anna's father, and saying if you send up your eligible daughter as my wife, because there's no women up there, I'll pay off all your debts. So the dad says, "Okay, Anna, nice knowing you. See you." So she gets sent up to the Klondike on a boat. Now, when she's on the boat from Seattle, she meets two young men who are going up. One of whom happens to be from Ireland, wouldn't you know? Can you believe? And so she meets two guys, and she has chaperones, but something happens with her chaperones, and she ends up being chaperoned by these two gentlemen, one of whom she starts to like for the reasons that attractive people in their 20s start liking each other. And so they have to chaperone her they have to chaperone her all the way up to that arduous journey, the 35 miles over the mountains, build your boat, 550 miles upstream. They have to chaperone her all the way up to Dawson City. And her and one of the guys start to kind of develop feelings for one another. So by the time they get up to Dawson, that's when the sparks are really going to fly between her and the guy that paid for the dowry for her to go up and the other guy. So there's a bit of triangle going on there. And it goes from there.
Well, do you have a release date? I mean, if you have to get it in soon, end of the year?
I doubt it. I would love if it came out at the end of the year. I would, honestly, if I had to guess, I would say late summer 2019. Yeah, it'll be ages. The publishing industry is so bad. I wrote White Rose Black Forest. I wrote it in 2016, and it was fairly much done by like October 2016. Last minute edits here and there. Agents and editors love tinkering about. And I love my agent, by the way. So lots of tinkering about, and then it takes ages for the publisher to read it, and then blah 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 blah. Because you're reading a book, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh yeah, I like that color, I'll take that carpet sample, you know what I mean? Right. So it took a couple of months that, and then, as I said earlier on in the interview, it took 14 months for me to sign the contract for it to come out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was tough. I didn't enjoy that. I didn't. So I'm just assuming that the same thing will happen again. So it'll be a while before it comes out. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because I know it's so hard as the writer because you want to get it out there, and But are you still with Lake Union?
I am.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, I thought that they went faster. I really did. I thought I don't know why.
Used to, Michelle. I think now that things are going better there. I think the more successful they get, the slower things go.
Right.
I met up with my editor. I lunched her a couple of times. She's a great person, and she told me literally. I said, "Can we not get it to come out a bit quicker?" She says, "Our slate is full for the year. We can't do anything for you unless somebody drops out, and they're not going to."
Wow.
So they just fit it in, and plus with that Kindle First thing that I did, they have to book that in advance too. So yeah, the whole big convoluted thing. But I'm okay now because it's been a massive success.
I know. I've heard about it. I have all these book reviewer people that I'm friends with on Instagram, and they sent it to me, and I was like, wait a second. Owen came out, and then I went right to Amazon. I'm like, oh my God, it did come out. And then that's when I messaged you. So yeah, people were going crazy for it over on Instagram. I mean, it's doing really, really well. Matter of fact, I think I've heard more buzz on this book than the other ones, even though, I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
Every,
we'll if you want to just put it in these terms, Finding Rebecca has like 2,300 reviews now, and it's been out since 2014, and then I self-published it before that. Now, White Rose Black Forest has like 2,100 reviews
already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So your reviews are a decent way to tell sales too. So it's done really well.
Yeah, and you know what else is that for some reason right now, in February and March of this year, there were so many thrillers coming out that you hit on that historical fiction and all the historical fiction people, because I'm starting to see the trends as they're coming through, and it's like and then everybody gets it. You know, like before it was like all these World War II historical fictions were coming through, but right now you're one of the ones. And so now it's like, oh, okay, now we and everybody's like, yes, let's get our historical fiction back because they've been reading thrillers for the last 3 months, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of thrillers. Yeah, those thrillers are, I'm not going to say dime a dozen because I don't want to like discount them or take anything away from the level of writing or ship there, but they are more common.
Oh my gosh. You know, those thrillers that I've been reading, like they have me looking at my neighbors. They're all about neighbors right now. And I walk out of the house and I'm like, I don't know these people, do I? They have me looking at my neighbors a little bit differently these days, you know? Yeah. And my daughter, who does all this, she watches these videos and she said, Mom, I'm starting to have nightmares. Can you do other books besides those thrillers? But they're out there. That's what people are reading. So, you know, I have to go with that. But I am so happy that I saw you. And when the next one comes out, I better know about it like first, I think. Yeah.
The next one's going to be probably called The Queen of the Klondike. Because she goes to the Klondike to marry the King of the Klondike and hence become the Queen of the Klondike.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I've already sent this book out to my book club people. So this is going to be, you know, big on the book club list, and I already let the people that are in charge of, because as soon as I read it, I was like, okay, I got another Owen book for you, and they were all excited. So
great.
Yep.
So you obviously enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it. Okay, I have one quote before we go, because I'm actually interviewing a woman from Canada next, so which is pretty fun. Okay. Which is what I thought you were talking about, like Great White North. I was like, yes, I'm going to be interviewing someone from Canada.
Well, the book is set in Canada, because the Dublin City is in Canada. It's near Alaska, but it's in Canada.
Yeah, she's not near Alaska, but those Canadian authors are fun too. They get to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
All right, here is the quote. As long as we remain true to ourselves and don't let them scar our souls, then we will have won.
That's the depth of that. Yeah.
I love that, because, you know, what she has to go through. I mean, like I said, Franca's, I mean, she's going to stay with me a while. I loved her. I loved her spirit. I loved the conflict and that she's alone in this world. And, you know, you set her up so well. And, you know, like she's just someone, I loved Finding Rebecca. I liked her too. I liked Rebecca, but you know, you get and then your next one, you get these strong female characters, and you know, they're hard to let go. So
I like writing about women. I think it's a really interesting perspective on things, particularly in historical terms, where like a small sub theme in this is that actually in my new book is that she wants to be a lawyer, but being a lawyer was illegal for women in most states in the United States in 1897. It was only legal in about 10 or 12 states. So, yeah, that's what she wants to do in her life, but that's not available for her to be. And I just think it's a really interesting perspective of someone who's, you know, part of society, but not really held up as a proper part of society, and who should be. You know, it's
right.
Right,
yeah, exactly. And, you know, from the first chapter on, we knew what she was going to be like. Like, you got a good sense of, like, from what she did, the first chapter. I mean, she was You know, like, and I was thinking, I went out walking. Now, you know what our weather has been like, okay? It has been absolutely insane, right? And I was walking the other day, and it was cold. It was like nice, and then it got cold again. And I was thinking of Franca, because I was like, you know what? She had to ski 10 miles just one way. And I'm complaining about walking around for a mile or two.
Did you find any guys in the snow? Did you build a snow cave and stay in them overnight? Did you do that? No?
Oh, it was crazy. Yeah. I mean, this has been the craziest weather ever. And I've lived here my whole life. So, yeah.
I've been here some winters, but this has been the worst of the time.
My daughter that's going to be watching this, my oldest daughter, she just moved here from Dallas at the beginning of March. Yeah, you can say hi to her. And I told her today, I was like, you have to go back, because since you got here, we've had nor'easters. We're now having snow in April. Go back to Dallas. Yeah. You were bringing us bad weather.
It's a lot of snow.
I know. And my son said to me last night, he's like, we're going to get 6 inches tonight. I'm like, no way. That's not happening. Our weather's been, it was too warm. I woke up this morning, I'm like, no kidding. He was not
Did you get
kidding.
6 inches, did you?
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah.
Did you?
Yep.
We got just a dusting. It didn't stick at all on the road.
No, it stuck around until about 4, 5. This after the sun came out a little bit. It evaporated. I don't know. I can't see it right now. But it went away pretty quick on the streets and everything.
Were the schools out at all?
Oh, yeah. School got canceled today, yeah.
Did it? Oh, yeah. April 2nd. Wow, life.
I know. They're going to be going till June, the end of June. They're not. I mean, it was nice that it was after Easter vacation, but, they had gotten today taken away from them. They had to go in today because of all the snow days, and then they got that, and then they had a snow day.
So yeah, well,
well, show us the cover one more time before we go. I want everybody to see it, because it is such. I mean, I got after when I was reading it and I could see the cover on my Kindle, and I was like looking at her and I was like, wow, that is great. That is just awesome.
Oh, I should tell you, I've had some interest in the movie being made.
No way.
So I've been approached 4 times by different people to make a movie, right? So I've had 2 emails from Hollywood production companies, and then I had an email from a lady in Germany, but I went with my friend back home in Ireland, who's a director himself. So because I knew he'd work really hard on it, I didn't want it to be left on the shelf. That's just an option, So so we've had a lot of interest.
Yeah, you don't want it just to be optioned.
Exactly. So so me and him have managed to finagle a deal with a production company in Ireland where they want us to write the screenplay. So I'm going to be trying to write the screenplay. I'll be giving that a go. I'm actually in already. I'm like 12 pages in. We're working on it together. So
that's fun.
It's very exciting.
It's a whole different art.
Positive very quickly. I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's like a whole different art. Writing art,
yes,
screenplays.
It is. Thankfully, I've got this stories just to work off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't pick it up as I go, so it's easier, obviously, just to work straight off the book and adapt it. But certain parts in the middle, I don't really know what I'm going to do with yet. So we'll see.
Right. That's
awesome. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Very exciting. Well, I'm so happy that we got to talk, Eoin. Thank you so much, as always. And you want to know something funny? Is on your other videos, some of your students made comments.
Oh, they did?
They did. They were like, oh my God, I know him. He's my teacher. But then they gave you lots of views, so it must have gone viral or something. I don't know.
Huh? Yeah, well, hi to all the kids that are watching this.
That's right. And we'll be talking soon, please, okay? Let me know what's going on. All right?
As always, Michelle.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you everyone for watching my video with Eoin. If you made it this far, you watched the whole thing, and we talked for a long time, but we're kind of old friends now. This is our 3rd one. And you know what's really weird is that he's in Philly. I'm in Allentown, PA. I had to call him like 3 times to get any kind of good connection, okay? Like, I've talked to people in England. I've talked to people in the Philippines. I can get like clear as day video. He's 45 minutes, and it just kept going in and out. And so I don't know. We'll see what my son Kyle can do about it. But anyway, thank you so much. White Rose, Black Forest. Okay. It's crazy good. Eoin only writes good books. So anyway, thank you, Eoin. And if you like this, please hit like. And if you'd like to get updates on all my videos, please hit subscribe.